recently I sprayed the bonnet, the hood of my Landy, and as my little shed doesn't have much light after I put clear on it and took the sun, there are streaks in it. Do I have to rub down to undercoat? Yes, if you're going to be painting it, if you're going to be putting any type of paint on top of that, whether it's more clear coat or if you want to do new base coat and then clear coat, I would sand it down with at least an 800 grit for clear coat. If you're gonna say, "Hey, I'm just gonna re-base coat it," here's Nala. If you're going to re-base coat it, I would just take it down with 400 grit, buddy, and go from there. Okay. Again, super important. You said that you don't have much light, and this is the reason why it's so important to have a gun bud ultra lighting system. If you don't have one of these, check these out on Amazon, guys. You can get them. Sometimes Zoolaa does sales. You can actually get them on Zoolaa. If you invest in any spray gun, you can get a gun bud ultra lighting system for free. Would you consider the best base coat and clear coat spray guns? Well, it depends on what the best means to you. Do you want to spend $800 for a SATA or something similar like an Iwata? Those are great guns, by the way. German quality, Japanese spray guns are very good. I like Atom spray guns. If you guys are looking for spray guns, check out the ATOMX 27 at zoolaa.com. I'm going to post a link again right here. We're going to go into the shop really quickly. The Atom guns come with the Gun Bud Ultra Lighting System. Every gun comes with it. It's a great medium grade spray gun. I've been spraying with mine for a few years now. No issues at all. I like them. They're durable, good medium grade. You're not spending, $700, $800, sometimes $900 for a spray gun. For the X27, you can get $299. I believe, $299 with the Gun Bud Ultra Lighting System, which is like a $60 value that comes with it. The X88, I think it's a little bit more, maybe $380, $370, $380. But they're great, great, great guns. So we're in the garage now, guys. This is the ATOMX 27 I was just talking about. A lot of our VIP members use these. These are the guns I use. I like the low volume, low pressure version for all around. ATOMX 27 is the bomb, excellent. As you can tell, I have one. So this is the low volume, low pressure version, great for base coat, clear coats. If you want to go, they say the high volume, low pressure guns are good for base coats. The low volume, low pressure, good for clear coat. But you can spray both base and clear out of a high volume, low pressure or a low volume. But if you guys are working with limited air capacity, like a smaller air compressor, definitely go with the low volume, low pressure version. You can kind of see it, low volume, low pressure dash MP, which is medium pressure. These are great all around. And then these are the X88s. This is the Blue Moon version. There's an Infinity version, which is just a different color, same gun, but different color. This is kind of like a really, really cool looking color version that I like. This one is a very, very good spray. It's also a high transfer efficiency, low volume, low pressure spray gun. That's what high HTE stands for. All of these guns are HTE. I don't think the X27s, they just didn't label it as HTE, but they are HTE spray guns. So check X27 is the bomb, excellent. As you can tell, I have one. So this is the low volume, low pressure version, great for base coat, clear coats. If you want to go, they say the high volume, low pressure guns are good for base coats. And the low volume, low pressure, good for clear coat. But you can spray both base and clear out of a high volume, low pressure or a low volume. But if you guys are working with limited air capacity, like a smaller air compressor, definitely go with the low volume, low pressure version. You can kind of see it, low volume, low pressure dash MP, which is medium pressure. These are great all around. And then these are the X88s. This is the Blue Moon version. There's an Infinity version, which is just a different color, same gun, but different color. This is kind of like a really, really cool looking color version that I like. This one is a very, very good spray. It's also a high transfer efficiency, low volume, low pressure spray gun. That's what high HTE stands for. All of these guns are HTE. I don't think the X27s, they just didn't label it as HTE, but they are HTE spray guns. So check, do you have to spray candy over another color, not just paint over primer? VIP, yes. And actually, we're going to be doing a candy paint job on these moped panels in back of me. If we take a look here, we got the side fairings all primed up, sanded, ready to go. These are all ready to paint. We got our front panel ready to go. Okay, it's all sanded, bodywork done, looking great. So I'm probably going to be painting tomorrow is the schedule. We're going to be doing a, where's my paint? Where did I put it? We're going to be doing, shit. We're going to be using X Finishes Micro Sequence Mini Flake. Got some spider webs on there. X Finishes Micro Sequence Flake, Silver, and Tangerine Candy Concentrate by House of Color. So this is what we're going to be doing. And we're going to be spraying over silver base coat. Okay, so silver base coat followed by a DBC 500 carrier with our flake. Okay, and then loading it with our candy on top. Okay, we're going to let that dry. Take off some of our graphics, clear coat it, let it dry. Let it sit for 2-3 days. Sand it all down with 800 grit. Pinstripe for black graphics. Spray the black graphics. Take off the pinstripe and re-clear 2 more coats of clear coat. So that's the overall. It's going to be a tangerine and black and silver graphic mixture that we're going to be doing on this little mini moped Honda Elite project. These panels that you see here on the table, 6 pieces in total. And yeah. Can you use primer from these spray guns? Absolutely, you can. Actually, I sprayed 2K filler primer out of the X27 onto these panels here. We're taking step-by-step A to Z videos, which are going to go in super in-depth detail for VIPs as well. And you can kind of see what the one-wheel project looked like that we painted not too long ago. With a teal and candy look. It doesn't really show, the color on video, but this is really like a green teal here, and this is like a purple candy. It's a candy fade that we did on the one wheel. Pretty cool. David Mena says, can I spray mini pearls and flakes with a 1.4 tip? Absolutely, you can. Yes, you can. Absolutely. You can spray any type of mini flake or pearls. Okay. This is House of Color Dry Pearl. I have a lot of different colors of House of Color Dry Pearl. We got gold, blue, purple, all kinds of colors of pearls here that I love. Some of these, they last so long. I think I bought this color like 10 years ago, and I still have like a half left. You could always do anything, you want with these things, custom paint jobs. Sometimes you'll use a gold and you won't use it for years, But yes, absolutely. You can spray it of a 1.3 or 1.4. Melvin says, hey, Tony, my Mercedes Benz was keyed from the rear quarter panel all the way to the front passenger door. It's really deep and went through the clearance base. How can I repair it home? So first of all, you're going to have to sand it, feather it out. So you could feather it out with a DA by going over the scratch, sanding it, and getting it flat putting a 2K filler primer over and then blocking it out, or you could just sand it with your DA, sand it smooth, flat. Okay, sand it flat. So say we have a scratch like this on the door here, right? You're going to want to just sand it flat like this. Okay, and then on the inside, we're basically just going to kind of give it a quick little sand like this. Just hit it, right? And then you're going to want to fill that with a glaze putty, let it dry, and block it out. And then once you do that, you spray primer on it, and then you would put your color, your base coat color and clear coat, and then it'll be done. Fulvio says, hey, Tony, the car I'm currently working on has parts with 80 grit sanded Bondo and other parts showing the old paint. What grit sandpaper should I use on the entire car before spraying primer? So you could finish off with like 150 grit, like even your 80 grit body filler that's shaped and ready to go. You can spray primer over 80 grit, okay? But I like to just take it down an extra notch. It only takes 10 seconds, to just hit a spot with 80 grit with 150 to just get it down a little smoother. And I like to primer over 150 grit, anywhere from 120 to 150, but mainly 150 grit is a good grit to spray a 2K filler primer on. So you can get 2 heavy coats of filler primer on, and then you can block that out and get that ready for paint. 21-gallon tank, absolutely it will. It will. You can get any spray gun to work on a compressor. It's just what is the size of the piece that you're painting, with a 3 horsepower, 21-gallon tank, it's not tiny. It's not a pancake compressor. You got a good size motor on it. 21 gallons is not the biggest, but you'll be able to paint. You could definitely paint moped panels. You could paint panels like this with a little 20 to 30 gallon air compressor with an X27. Okay. Because remember, you're not going to be spraying at full CFM. Whatever your compressor is putting out, you're not going to be spraying at maximum CFM output, because the guns you're spraying, normally you could spray it from 22 to 27 pounds in that general area. With primers, you can go down to 19 pounds, depending, because you're not looking for atomization with primer, you're looking for fill. Okay, so primer doesn't have to come out at a very high pressure. You really don't have to. But it helps if you have large areas that you're priming and you have a 1.8 or 2.0 tip size on your primer gun. And if you really want to cover some area quickly, it helps to have a bigger air compressor and up your PSI, to 23, 24 pounds. Will get you some good coverage of some thick primer filler across your panels, especially if you're doing large classic cars, full doors, full hoods. You're going to want to cover that stuff quickly and not just be there all day with a small, coming out of a small tip size. Hey, Tony. Dennis says, hey, Tony, I live in Florida where it's difficult to work on a panel and not have it flash rust before getting in primer. How do I work on a panel from day to day without repriming every day? Well, you have a window where after you get something down to metal, you can just prime it that day. You're good. So I don't know what you mean. Like you could sand the panel down, okay, and have an easy 1 hour window to prime it. So just do panel by panel and make sure you get it into primer every day. You could even just do an epoxy primer. So if you're going down to metal, I wouldn't use a 2K unless the 2K you have is actually made to go over metal. And this 2K that I have here, called ECG by European General Coatings, you could go directly over metal. They actually recommend it. I've never used it directly over metal, but you could with some 2K filler primers. If not, get an epoxy primer. Get your items down to metal, your panels down to metal. And then put epoxy primer, because you could always spray your 2K filler primer on top of that epoxy at a later time. But you'll basically, save yourself from the flash rust, the surface rust You won't have to worry about it popping up because you at least got a coat of epoxy on top of it. Hopefully that helps. About pressure pot for paint a car. I don't think it's necessary. A lot of guys, you know, in the automotive painting industry don't use pressure pots when painting automotive you know, paints and cars and panels. Not really. It's more for like industrial use if you're painting large heavy equipment with thicker paints. I think that's more appropriate. But yeah, really not much in our field. You know, guys, when we do our painting, we're really not using the pressure pots. You know, it's mostly conventional spray guns, whether you're using a high volume, low pressure or a low volume, low pressure spray gun. What should I use? A 1.3 or 1.4 for base and clear. Compressor is 3 horsepower, 21 gallon. I would say either or, but you would want to get a, hey, you would want to get a low volume, low pressure. So if you're looking into the Atom spray guns, which I like, look into the ATOMX 27 low volume, low pressure, which is this version right here. It's a matte silver color with a green tip. Or you could look into the ATOMX 88, which is also a low volume, low pressure, high transfer efficiency spray gun. Okay, this is a little bit more pricier. It's an upgraded model, but they both spray great. And this is the Blue Moon version, and they come with. All right, guys, I'll see you later. Thanks for tuning in. Tony here from Paradise Garage, and new content rolling out as we speak. Peace out. Cheers.